Welcome back. 8:13. You know what? We're bracing for another round of king tides. After a wet few weeks, parts of our area could be in for even more flooding, and many of those communities are still working to recover after floodwaters caused widespread damage. And this morning, we really want to help you to plan ahead. Joining me live, professor in oceanography at the University of Washington, Parker McGrady. Professor, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So this upcoming weekend, we're expecting in general a minor event, but can you start by explaining why we had such severe high tides a few weeks ago?
Sure. So the king tide happens during times like full moons and new moons when the tide generating forces of the sun and the moon are acting together. A king tide is when the lunar force is especially large because the moon is closer on its elliptical orbit. I know that's a lot of sciencey words, but it actually makes a difference. And this upcoming event, the new moon that happens on Saturday, is the closest approach of the moon on its elliptical orbit for the whole year. So it has especially large tides. Yeah, and then the other thing that made the last king tide event so damaging was that it coincided really closely with a big storm. And both the winds and the low pressure of a storm can raise the tides beyond the predictions by 1 to 2 feet. And that can really make a difference when they happen at the exact same time as high tide.
Yeah, I mean, that's just enough to cause damages. So it's about the king tides and then where we're at with our pressure systems. And that's right, the severe high tide event coincided with that very strong area of low pressure. So can you explain to people why this upcoming weekend event is going to be so different?
Well, one thing to know is that even though the new moon is on Saturday, the actual highest tide range happens 2 days later on Monday. And so that's really the day to watch out for the highest tides. And then it's all a matter of what the weather does. And since that's almost a week from now, you don't really know, but it looks like it's not going to be a big storm, at least on my phone.
Yeah, it's going to be really helpful that our weather pattern doesn't look overly active for the upcoming weekend. Now, when we talk about our king tide event, minor flooding this weekend, can you pinpoint which areas might see those king tides the most?
It would really be anywhere in Puget Sound. It's the weather effects really are widespread. The low pressure area doesn't focus on one city versus another. It's spread over the whole region, and the same with the wind effects.
Yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate. What else do people need to know about king tides in general?
Oh, I think tides are great. You should and just look at, get a tide app on your phone and watch it, and then compare it to like a moon app on your phone and see how things line up.
It's clear.
Yeah.
It's clear that you're very passionate about this. Why do you love king tides so much?
Well, in my work, I study the oceanography of Puget Sound, and tides are a really big deal here in terms of moving the water around and mixing it. So in order to make models of Puget Sound, you have to really get the tides right. So that's why I've studied them so much.
Professor McGrady, we so appreciate having you on this morning, and it's great to know that this upcoming event this weekend looks much more minor compared to what we saw in late December. So thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.